Alright guys, we are back for another video, and this one is for the Furious Degens. Sorry if I sound terrible today, I feel terrible, but I've got a really good video for you and a massive airdrop, and I'm really excited about this one. So even though I feel terrible, as the saying goes, the show must go on. So here we are, terrible voice and all, to give a fat airdrop. But the reason we're giving such a big airdrop, thanks to the team over at Furio. So on my last video, I let you guys know that we were elevated into the fast teams, which basically after you get 30 members or something like that, then you qualify for being one of their teams that gets some additional benefits. And in this case, the additional benefits are really fat airdrops. Now I know some of the teams out there, they're huge, right? Like Cryptozoa, all their teams are super big, but those guys got massive airdrops dropped to their team wallet. My boy Richie over at Crypto Mischief, they have a super big team. Ours is relatively small. I think we placed 8th in the contest. We've only got 36 team members, which is still super exciting. All that means is the team is smaller, but you get more special attention. So if you can see right here in my Fear balance, I have 58 Fear tokens, which is a pretty fat stack of cash right now. And in just a second, I'm going to airdrop that down to all team members that have over, I originally said 15 Fury in their vault. We'll go with 10. So if you've got 10, meaning even at the peak and the most expensive it ever was, if you bought at the very top, then that was about 200 bucks. For most of you guys, you got in somewhere between there. So if you currently have 10 and you are on the team in your vault balance, I'll throw that in here and we'll do the airdrop. Why don't we just try to do it now? I've never done an airdrop on Furio because I was waiting for them to develop the tool that tells me how much you guys have deposited individually so I can give you the correct airdrops. But this fat 58 is just going to go to everyone on the team equally, and that minimum qualification again is just 10 Furio tokens in your vault. So huge thank you to everyone who joined the team. Without the Furio team and us getting into the fast teams, we wouldn't be able to give away this much. So I'm super excited about that. Hopefully, if you're on the fence about Furio and you haven't decided to get in, this will be some additional incentives. You should probably join a fast team. Hopefully that fast team is mine, but if you want to join someone else's, that's fine. Fast teams get additional rewards. They get big airdrops to be able to give out to the team. So the leadership over at Furio knows that, and they help reward you. So they help team builders grow their teams even faster by throwing out additional incentives that we might not otherwise get. So I'm really stoked about this. Thank you to the Furio team because I think this is fantastic. And of course, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send that right down to you guys right now. So 58 here, minimum balance is going to be 10. Let's send the airdrop and give me 1 second. I've got the whole ledger thing going on. Oh my gosh, gas fees were super high on that transaction, but we're good to go now. So as you notice, I don't have anything in this balance. Everything went down to the team. So congratulations to anyone who got some of that piece of that airdrop. Again, super excited that the Furio team does stuff like that. They send these big fat balances out from the dev wallet in order to help reward the fast teams. So if you're looking to join a team, consider the Furious Degen. So excited. Thank you guys. Hopefully you're all checking your balance this afternoon and realizing you have more money in there, which is always a good thing. So hey, before I forget, please consider subscribing to the channel if you like my content. About a month ago, I checked the stats, and about 1/3 of the people that watch my channel were subscribed, and 2/3 were not subscribed. I wanted to try to flip that. Right now, I just checked over the last 30 days, we're right at about 50-50. So major progress in the right direction. Again, if you like my content, if you want something different or whatever, feel free to chime in, but please consider subscribing. It certainly does help me out. Plus all the projects that I like, if you like those too, and you're subscribed and you liked and all that, of course, it bumps it up in the algorithm. So if you want the prices to increase on the projects you're in, if they're the same ones I'm in, liking and subscribing will help that. So now that that's out of the way and the airdrop is done, let's talk Furio. So right now, I mean, it's paying out. I'm not seeing any issues right now. The price has been dwindling just a little bit. We had that massive run up. We popped, but once we hit this $9 range, we popped back up to about $10.50, and then it's just slowly going down. Not a really at a really rapid pace, just kind of slowly, which some of this is to be expected. Some of these people claim to put money into the Fury deal because that's going to launch fairly soon. Like I said before, anything below this kind of $8-9 range is a buying opportunity for me. So I am picking up some more Fury tokens down here. I feel like we're in a little bit of a lull period because there's a bunch of stuff that's just about to come out and nothing's really happening. And generally on these DeFi projects in crypto, in between announcements, if there's not a lot of hype going on, the price starts to dwindle. So this is pretty normal. What I do think is interesting is we're primed and in a really good spot to introduce the LMS system they're about to bring out. So what's an LMS system and why is it such a big deal? So that is what's called the liquidity management system. And in a lot of ways, it basically acts as price control. So what Furio has done is they reached out to Horde, and Horde has an LMS system that they're utilizing that they've been really successful with. There's other projects out there like Bloomify. Bloomify is a good project that uses an LMS. And what it does is it basically keeps the price in a certain range. So let's look at a couple charts of DeFi projects that are using an LMS, and then I'll give you my 2 cents on whether I think it's a good thing or a bad thing here. So first off, Horde created this technology, this specific LMS system that these other companies are, I guess, licensing or utilizing, right? They're utilizing the technology that Horde created and they're just paying them a fee or whatever. So this is Horde's chart, and as you can see, everything is, super consistent. We're looking at a 1 hour chart here, and I think Horde has their LMS set between, I think, 99 and 110. So they've been able to keep it between 99 and 110 for a few months. So as you can see, every time it gets down here and hits this $99 range, you've got a few poke through. These wicks on these candles will poke through. But then what will happen is the liquidity management system will buy up the supply if it dips to this certain level. So if it gets to this price, the liquidity management system kicks in, makes a big purchase, and pushes the price back up. Now, once it gets up here to 110, as you can see, there's some body of the candles that fit here as well, or that butt up against it. There's also some wicks that go way above it. As soon as the price rises to 110, that LMS kicks in and actually sells a bunch of the tokens, which pushes the price down. Now, why haven't you seen anything like this before? Well, LMS systems, they only make sense for like DeFi projects that are paying out daily ROIs. Could you imagine telling people, hey, purchase Tesla, but the stock price is never going to go up, it's always going to stay in this range? That doesn't make any sense. But if you want some consistency to your project and you're paying out a percentage daily, then sideways price action is awesome. I'd be happy to have it just stick at a certain price range. If you can make your project work and stick it at a certain price range with just very light fluctuations, and you're getting paid 1%, 2%, 3% per day, whatever the platform is, that's a recipe to get rich really quickly. You, of course, have to have good tokenomics and other tools in place, be building out an ecosystem for that to work and for it not to eventually crash. But if projects can pull that off, this is a very good tool for longevity. It will help sustainability and stability itself. And I think for investors, it's really solid. So if you guys aren't in Horde, definitely check it out. I think it's a good project. I'm not in it personally, but I have a bunch of friends who are, and they're all making decent money. So what other projects are using the LMS? This is the Nectar token. Like I said, Bloomify is using it, and as you can see, their price action is really similar as well. They've got a $2 to $2.25 range or whatever that they use, and as you can see, when it drops down to this lower $2 range, or $2.20 maybe, whatever this is, $2.20, $2.24, maybe that's their range, and up. When it drops down, you get a purchase, you get a nice buy order that shoots it back up, and when it gets too high, there's a sell order that brings it down. So it naturally keeps it in that range. So the way you got to think of it is they take some of the liquidity, sorry, I can't talk today. They take some of the liquidity and they separate it out. So like a pool of tokens, if you will. So if you've got a big old liquidity pool, they say, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to take, 100,000 tokens or whatever it is. That's just an example. Then that separate liquidity pool, they basically utilize that to buy and sell. So if they've got 100,000 tokens in there and the price starts to dip, it hits that lower threshold, that liquidity pool buys up a bunch of the tokens, which then increases the price. If the price gets too high to a certain level, that a bunch of liquidity or a bunch of the tokens from that liquidity pool would get sold, which would then force down the price. So it's just having an additional bucket of capital that allows them to swing and buy and sell. And it's a tool that's very interesting. I haven't seen these work for a very long time, meaning Horde's only been using it for a few months, but they've been very successful. And because of their success, they're now licensing this technology out to other DeFi projects. So we don't know if this is going to be the best thing ever quite yet, but it looks really promising. And if they can get this down and the DeFi projects that utilize this service are solid and continue to build out their ecosystems, this can be a very consistent, very reliable way to make your daily percentage, whatever that is. So back over to Furio's chart. here's why I think it's interesting for Furio, and here's why I don't think it's good for like drip and stuff like that. I think drip is really far into the evolution of the project. Making a change like that doesn't really make sense right now, because you got 110,000 users or whatever in the system that are expecting the price to go up based on all these bullish announcements that are coming up. Bloomify, Furio, Cairo, any of these new projects, they could benefit from this because they're only a couple months old. And so making a small change like that won't really change the game for too many people. They still have the opportunity to get rich, and very few people I think would be affected by the change. Plus, if you notice, the price action here is really leveled out. So if you were to take what you currently have here at the 685 range and implement an LMS, say between $6 and $10 or $6 and $9, whatever it is, so it would just bounce back and forth between this range, that would be really solid. And if you're utilizing the system responsibly, if you will, and a bunch of people are just trying to drain the system and take everything out, which of course Furio discourages by the way their tokenomics work. If you just try to drain the system, you'll go all the way down to 0.5%, and then you can't ever get your way back up to that 2.5 or 2.25, you know, whatever that range is. If you can't get yourself back up into that range, then you kind of burnt yourself from a tokenomics standpoint. But if you're responsible and you claim on a 4 and 3 claim schedule or better, then this should still make you really good money. So I think a 4 and 3 gives you 2% still. I think 6 and 1 will bump you up to 2.25%. And then, you know, if you just are compounding 7 days a week, then you get that 2.5% club. Now, like I've said before, when you get all the way to max out on Furio, they changed the way they did things. Once you get to max, you don't get to keep whatever rate you ended with forever. So if you compound this thing all the way and never claim, once you get to max payout and then you start claiming, it'll drop you back down to that 0.5%. So it doesn't make any sense to do that. So for most people, what I'm telling you, once they get their balance kind of where they want it to be, I would at least go to a 6 and 1 schedule. Take profits, take them responsibly, keep yourself up at that 2.25%. Maybe you split down to a 5 and 2 and it drops you down a little bit. But that's responsible profit taking. And if you had something like an LMS on here, I think it would be super bullish. So I'm actually super interested in it. I think on this project, since I'm not a big whale in this project, I haven't been in it for that long. It's only been around for about 2 months. Do you think it would be good to put a liquidity management system in here? Or do you think the idea of implementing the Horde LMS is going to be negative for the Furio community? So I'm really interested to hear your thoughts. Please post them in the comments down below. Thank you guys for joining the team. Seriously, if you need a team to join ours, because we get fat airdrops from the team. Plus I'll be adding in some of my own. So in the end, that can be a really big incentive. So I would say join a fast team. Join mine if you want, but at least join a fast team, because you're going to get extra kickbacks that way. And the name of the game in this is to make money. So let's all make money together. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Happy investing.